Dr. Anne Hilty, BPW member worldwide. I cannot say it's USA or Hong Kong, or because in fact she belongs to other clubs around the world, and very active, and always trying to put together the things related to BPW International, and her career as a psychologist, it's and writer, and her great job in research the behavior of the human being around the world, I think is a great asset that we really need to appreciate a little bit more. Thank you, Anne, and thanks to her, because it was, yes, my idea to have these webinars to train our members in different areas about BPW, not how to be a leader or whatever that you can do everywhere, but about BPW. How can we train our next generation, which is very important, not only in the international level, in our local level, national level, regional level, that at the time that we need our leaders to take the positions, to lead the organization, not always we have so many options to select or to vote for it. So I think that we need to train our members a little bit more, and that is why I had since 2 years ago this idea. And just because Anne is a very persistent person and very organized person, we are here. Thank you very much, Anne. And well, Neelima, my Pali daughter, is the best example of what we need in a young BPW. She's very professional. She's an architect, very professional, with a lot of concern about not only young BPWs, but or young people in her country, but how to really make a difference in her community, in the country, in the world. I've been there, I think 3 years ago, and I have the pleasure to visit the places where it was built, the houses with the money of the thermometer. Remember that we put a thermometer for Nepal after the earthquake? And she was the one who had this idea. She made the, how you said, construction plan? How you say the, and lead all the work, because it was in areas very difficult to raise. So really, you are a very good example. Thank you very much, both of you, for being here, and for our participants, Vicky, Janet, Joe. Thank you very much. So the floor is yours.
Neelima? Yes. Okay. So how do I start? You know, I've been thinking a lot ever since, you know, I stepped into BPW. It's like, how can I make a difference? So of all this year's experience, that I think I know a few things that we can do as a young BPW or as a BPW. To everyone who is present here, thank you so much, because you can't always travel to all the places and then reach out to everyone. Webinars like this, it will help us reach out to many people. So I have like 10 minutes. So that is one thing I want to remember today is I want us to remember the founder of our organization, who started this organization to bring women from all over the world So if she can bring the women together from all over the world, we can bring the women in our community or in our country together to make a difference. One thing about young BPW, the confusion about it is when they say young BPW is a separate club or a separate unit. You need to understand that we are a part of BPW. It's just that we have 35 and under. So we are like young BPW. You need to remember you can't exclude yourself from the club of your country and say, okay, it's a young BPW unit. So you need to work together with your club and your country. And some of the things that I want to point out is because I have made out an action plan in the beginning of the year 2018, the action plan for 2017 to 2020, so that the young one can actually look up to it and come up with a program or event, anything to participate in BPW events. As we know that our theme for this triennium is empowering women to realize sustainable development goals. So when we talk about sustainable development goals, there are 17 goals, and there is one more goal that is called sustainability of BPW. And for that, all the young members need to participate. So without the participation of young members, it is impossible for the sustainability of BPW. And some of the points that I have pointed out to make things easier for everyone to work, to come up with the program is, first one is United Nations. As you all know that BPW is the first women organization to get affiliated with UN. So we have a responsibility as well. Having a consultative status is not enough. We need to participate and we need to make an effort to bring the 2030 agenda that everyone in the world is working towards. And it's not because it's just a thing that we want to follow, but the thing is that the world that we live in right now, the half the world's population are refugees, not because of climate change or political, crisis, but a lot of because we are ignorant about it, and we need to step up to make sure that this world is better for everyone to live in. So we need to consider whenever we are making a plan to, come up with a project or a program, we need to make sure that SDG is included. And for the first one is UN, and the second one is a young BPW on BPW board. This was started a few years back, and ever since that, I think there has been a lot of changes. The changes in Right in Nepal is that we have a young representative who is in the board of National Federation. So changes needs to come from everywhere. For example, BPW Hong Kong has a young BPW president who's a young BPW. It's amazing. It's an example. It's an inspiration to many. So we need to realize that being a young member, it's not only the position of a young representative that you want. You can go for other position in your clubs, in national and international as well. So this is kind of a program then you can come up with how to groom each other to, come to apply for those positions. And equal pay day is something that Europe has been fighting for a really long time. I live in Nepal. I think equal pay has nothing to do with me because if I go to a workplace, I will get paid equally, but the leaves that I need, there are certain things that are missing, but payment are equal. But there are countries who are not getting equally paid. So you can come up with a program that can, bring awareness within your community to, work for equal pay in your workplace. And another one is women empowerment. One of the major, thing that BPW has been working for all these years is for empowerment of women in profession, in business and leadership. So you can plan any kind of a project, or a program that can, help someone. You may not need it, but someone will need it. So you can come up with a program related to that. And another one is International Trade Center. It's our international partner, right? One thing I have seen is like we have so many women who are starting business, but we tend to forget that is it a sustainable business that we're doing? Is it harming environment? Is there a better option that we can come up with, innovative ideas in which we don't destroy our nature and at the same time do business and make money as well? So these are the things that we need to come up with, together to come up with ideas or program that can, make a difference in society as well. As you all know that task force is a major thing in BPW. There's a list of task force that we can see in our website. So my suggestion for the young one is that I don't see a lot of members, young members, eager to be a part of the task force. So you don't have to come up with a separate program. You can be a part of a task force, learn with the experts, and how you can implement back home. So the way how you can get in touch with the task force chairs, you can get in touch with me or the country president or the regional coordinator. In that way, you can take part in the different task force. And another one is twinning. Twinning is, BPW has been working a lot. I saw a list of countries that have been doing twinning. The best part for the young members, if they want to start a program, is we get confused that how you want to start a program, what is BPW program, what is BPW all about. But if you go to the website and see all the training that has been done and the projects that they are doing, you get an idea. You don't even have to start a one project. You can, if you think certain project looks good, you can implement that in your country and you can inform the training chairperson. And in that way, you can implement different projects all around the world. And another one is mentoring. It is also a program. You have to remember that mentoring is one of the major thing that I believe BPW has to offer. We have amazing, inspirational women within BPW. So what we have to do is we have to make sure that we get connected, we reach out to the experts and make them our mentors so that they can guide us. So it doesn't, mentoring is also a part of a program. And when we talk about projects, the thing is that people say project is need to be something that it will be service oriented, or you need to get a job to do a project. But the thing is that because BPW is a volunteering organization, we have to make sure that we are ready to give some time to the community or the society. And you can come up with the projects. There are three types of projects: expert, member, and club and federation. Expert is if you're good at something, then you register into the website called in the BPW website, and you share your expertise so that someone who needs it somewhere in the country can use it. And another one is member. If as a person you want to start a project uh, or a program, you can register it yourself. And you have to make sure that you continue it and you implement it as well. You just don't register and disappear. Another one is club and federation. That is done by the club and federation. So in this way, when you register all these projects and program, it becomes visible. So far, I have seen there are like 52 projects, countries that have registered the project in the website. And the work they are doing is amazing, and you can learn from them as well. So next time you try to come up with a program, maybe Young BPW program, try to come up with the action plan, the SDG that it is associated with, and how it will, the things that it will, the outcome of this whole project. And I think that is how you can, come up with innovative ideas. There are few projects that has been registered by the Young BPW members. The first one is from Young BPW Italy. It's up to me to bring women, come forward, and it's up to us to make a difference. And they have been doing a lot of workshop related to that. And another one is Gender Equality in Leadership by Alice Mineto from Italy. She did this because she wanted to see more women, female leaders in the workplace, in the companies. So she has been trying her best to bring awareness about within the BPW members and even outsiders. And another one is Law in Action, is a young BPW project that has been started by one of the young lawyer of Nepal. And she has been going to remote areas talking about child marriage and all the laws related to women and children to protect them, to prevent them from any other cases, because we had a rape case in Nepal, and then we couldn't do it anything for like it's been almost 2 years. We have not been doing anything, and because the government is trying to avoid it. So we said, okay, we don't want to go on the street. We want to prevent those things. So that's how we started. They started going to the villages. And another mentorship program has been started by Hong Kong, which is amazing. I think a lot of the country can do twinning with them, because this is a project in which you come up with innovative ideas to do business. So I think there are so many ways in which, as a young BPW member and a BPW member, we can come up with ideas to change the way the things have been going, and come up with very what we say it is something that is not normal, that is something that can make a lot of difference in the society and inspire many. I have been telling a lot of members to register their project, because the thing is that you just don't register your project because you want to win an award or something, but your project can inspire someone. And so it is very important. And I want to thank, I think I, uh, I said whatever I wanted to say. And I think if there is anything else left, please remind me.
Okay, thanks, Neelima. Neelima and I have teamed up for this because she's young and obviously I'm not. So we're coming from very different perspectives. So her audience is kind of the young among us today and speaking to them about how to get involved. And my perspective is what we've done in Hong Kong to attract more young members. So we're coming at this from two angles, if you will. So let me just open and we'll open it up to questions at the end. But I've muted you all for now because it helps with our transmission. So let me just open up my very brief PowerPoint that I will use for the next 10 minutes. Okay. So what have we done in BPW Hong Kong is what I want to talk to you about. First, just a few basic facts of Hong Kong that will be helpful. First of all, we have a total of 7.5 million population. And if you look at those red numbers, there are far more women than men, which is unusual. 400,000 of those are temporary workers from other countries, but even then we still have more women than men in Hong Kong. The median age is 43.2, but that's not as young as it looks, because if you look at those other statistics, the average age in Asia is 30.7. And the only one that's higher is Japan by a few points. So Hong Kong is actually considered among the elder populations, or the aging populations, as we say. So we didn't have that benefit. We're a self-governing region, which means BPW Hong Kong can work very directly with the government, and that's an advantage for us. We currently have the first female chief executive, but she's appointed, not elected. So that's one factor. And in the legislative, out of 70 members, only 12 are female. So that's 17%. Pretty low. That's a target. We have a Hong Kong Women's Commission, which is an advisory board to the government. It works like UN Women, and it's within the Division of Labor and Welfare. So it's 100% in keeping with BPW principles. And BPW Hong Kong has recently been asked to participate in that. So we're very pleased with that. Official languages, English is one of those, and our club does function in English, and that's so that we can appeal to the broadest base of members. And finally, the primary industry in Hong Kong is banking and finance. Actually, most of our members don't come from this category, but some of them do. But in the stock market, and now this is about women on boards, in the stock market, of the publicly listed companies, they have an average of 13% women on their boards. And 1/3 of them, fully 1/3, have 0 women on their boards. So that's a huge area for improvement. We're actually not working on that issue because there's a women's organization in Hong Kong that has more than 1,000 members, a lot of money, and political connections, and they're working on this issue. So we support them. The law in May changed so that new companies that want to be publicly listed have to give a detailed report on how they will have diverse boards and how they'll achieve that. So that's at least a step. This always has trouble moving to the next slides. Okay, so some basic points of BPW Hong Kong, and then I'll go into our young program. We're actually a relatively young club in the sense that we were chartered not quite 4 years ago. And on the other hand, there was a previous club for 34 years. So that's a win-win for us. We're a relatively new club. We can bring in new ideas. We can have a very 21st century focus. And yet BPW is not new to Hong Kong. They have now a 39-year reputation. So good on both counts for us. I was the founding president, which is why I'm talking to you today. And the current president is Cindy Leung, who is Hong Kong Chinese, and she's 32 years old. More on her in a bit. We chartered with 48 members, and 25% of those were young. That was when we began. So we had a big, strong emphasis on young from the start. But we also had a 50-50 objective. 50% of the membership under and 50% over 35 at the outside. More on the young side would even be better. Currently, we have 42 members. We've just had the usual transition in the first few years, and 55% of those are young BPW. So we have more than half at this point. Even better, 85% of our members are age 40 and below. Now, I say better not in any ageist way because I'm well outside of that range, but for sustainability, that's a very good strength. Our youngest is actually age 17. We had an 18 minimum limit, but someone who was 17 presented herself a few months ago. The executive evaluated, and we asked BPW International to be sure, and now we have her as a very enthusiastic member. We give a young membership discount to help with paying the dues, but as of this year, they've elected to only give that discount under 25. So while we follow the official up to age 35 is young BPW, we unofficially consider 25 and under to really be the young in our club. And we also don't differentiate young. And that's something that comes back to what Neelima was saying. It's not a separate program. We never say, as I have heard people say in some parts of the world, our young. I find that very patronizing. And in fact, most of our executive at the moment are young BPW. Here are just some of the faces of our current members. Now remember, this is not a young BPW club. These are our members. They do tend to be on the young side. This, I don't know if you can see my cursor moving. Can you? Yes, okay. This is our current president, Cindy Leung, here, and also here, and here, that baby face. Don't be fooled. She's been vice president and president of another large organization in Hong Kong before ours. She was in 2 positions on my board, the previous one, and she is an executive for USB as well as a new mom. She's incredibly capable. So here's what we did, and here are our main points. We wanted to start out with a very strong young base for the long-term sustainability of our club and of the 21st century conceptualization. We wanted integration, nothing separate. And we wanted valuing of the young. They weren't there just to receive, they were also there to contribute. And they have plenty to contribute. And we wanted also then to provide technology. We can't always depend on it. All right, so youth leadership, I'll go back to where I was. The video seems a little funny, but let's see if we can go from there. We had a 50-50 model in Hong Kong for all of those categories I was mentioning, not only membership, but for our executive committee, our task force and committee chairs, our presenters at any public event. We wanted to have at least 50% in all cases be under 35, age under 35 members. International engagement, that's showing our members the benefit of the BPW international level and also allowing them to feel that there is a bigger picture. And that's especially an expectation of young members. So we used strategic twinning. We've twinned with people with clubs in each of the 5 regions. Now we're twinned with 5 in our own region. And all of this was also to attract young members who have a very big interest in international affairs, generally speaking. On global skills and training, we wanted to make that as relevant to the 21st century as possible. So we have things like leadership, but particularly 21st century models, more on that in a minute, entrepreneurship, social enterprise, 5G technology, design and marketing, boardroom insight, that's about being on boards, investment, and so on. And that's also capacity building of our members. In technology, which is also capacity building, but absolutely an expectation of, well, this century and certainly our younger generations. We have a very active use of a WhatsApp group, which is the #1 social media use in Hong Kong. And every day our members are actually sharing things about other resources in Hong Kong in addition to our own. So it's very rich and it allows our members to see that there's quite a lot available to them. We've also used other forms of technology that are listed here, but in general, technology has been a priority for us. Networking, support, and collaboration. The networking that we do is not only member to member, but members also introducing another member to someone outside of our organization and really using our broader networks as well to benefit one another, as well as with organizations, governments, universities, and he-for-she programs. Universities I've put in bold. We have one university in Hong Kong that has a gender studies program from bachelor's through PhD. A couple of our current executives are students in that program at the PhD level. And also we have provided lectures and presentations to them and mentoring to some universities. And at the same time, they are a steady feed to us for young members because they're recommending our program to their graduate students. So that's worked very well for us to build our Young BPW program. In diversity, this is the sustainability of our organization, but also something that we needed for attracting our young members. And that was especially the diversity of age, but also diversity in other ways. Because again, this is what we're trying to build is what we call a 21st century model of BPW. So here are some of our members participating in a number of different things in Hong Kong. Some of these are our events, this one and this one. This in the middle at the bottom is the Women's Commission, which we'll now be serving on. And at the top left, this is the Stock Exchange, who provided this forum on how to function in boards. And we wanted to make sure BPW was represented in that. And some examples of some of the programs that we've done. So again, we're trying to make this as relevant to the current work world, current work models, and the use of technology as possible. So in the bottom center and bottom right, those are our programs, Women in Workplace and Appreciative Leadership. Top right, we have Family Friendly Workplace Roundtable, and we're one of many participants in that program. Our logo is here. This was put on by the university that has the Gender Studies program that we work very closely with. And this is Viewing Human Rights in Hong Kong Through a Gendered Lens. There are 2 different TEDx Women forums in Hong Kong every year, and we've had our members participating in that. And She Means Business was put on by Facebook Hong Kong, and we have one of our members as a speaker there as well. And our mentoring program currently. So in our first year, first 2 years really, in my term, we had what we called classic mentoring, which is, as you all know, and reverse mentoring, which is in essence younger to older. And the reverse mentoring track was to equally value all mentors, those with more working experience in terms of number of years, that's classic, but also those with the more recent knowledge and the more recent training in technology and so on. And generally that's our younger generations. So we wanted to make sure that we were coming from both directions in that. Now in this president's term, she's introduced yet a new mentoring scheme that they call one-to-one-to-one. And it involves 2 mentors and 1 mentee. And the mentee is qualified, they go through a process of qualifying, university student in Hong Kong, not one of our mentors. And our mentors are our members, plus they've integrated a he for she program. So they've got some male mentors working with our members and pairing up for the mentoring of the university students. So just a sampling of our activities. In legislative, we've geared that especially toward our younger women. 2 things that we've looked at so far and presented to our legislature on is public childcare facilities, the need for this, and extending maternity leave benefits. And also, as I said, we'll be participating in the Women's Commission. So that's especially, the Women's Commission is especially interesting also to our younger members, because for any who have any political aspirations, that's a foot in the door. And for others who just want to feel like they're really making a difference in Hong Kong, that's also their avenue. Community mentoring and other programs I've mentioned. Development I've mentioned a lot already in our forums and seminars. And we have a number of events here as well, including with Hong Kong Chamber of Commerce, with the government's annual reception for International Women's Day, with Hong Kong Trade Development Council that provides a number of events and gives us invitations to attend and so on. And that's us. So that's the end of my presentation. And if you want to unmute yourselves and jump in with any questions for Neelima or myself, I will put that out to all of you.
Hi, Anne. Will you be sending the PowerPoint through on email, please, or can you?
No, I can send the slide that has all of our suggestions, but I don't want to send the full PowerPoint. but I will minimize it to the page of our framework and all of our suggestions, and I'm happy to send that.
Thank you.
And this is Susan Jones. How are you?
Hi, Susan.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Neelima. Well done. I just wanted Neelima to tell us a little bit about what she's done in Nepal, because having just come back from Kathmandu myself and experienced firsthand what she has done there to drive the young women in what was a very aging BPW Nepal, for me has been revolutionary. So Neelima, tell everyone a little bit about that, how you did it, how you achieved that. I think that was something that was a big surprise to me.
Thank you, Susan. Let me go back 2 years back when I joined, not 2 years back, like 6 years back when I joined BPW. I used to see very few young members. So whoever I met, like 2 or 3 of them, I used to get in touch with them. I used to learn from them because they were old, they were there from before. So I used to hear so much about the Congress, the different events in different countries. And it started off from Cyprus. I went there to Cyprus to attend European conference in 2015, and that's where I saw the amazing women from Europe who were trying to make a difference. And when I came back, I decided I have to do something in Nepal, because being young, we can do a lot if we come together. And ever since that, and after the election in the Cairo, when I came back, it was a huge, it was a huge responsibility for me to reach out to the young members all over the world. But for me to start from Nepal was important because, like we say, charity begins at home. So when I came back, I reached out to everyone who wanted to be a BPW member, because they used to see me in, book and everything, and they used to tell me how we can be a BPW member. So what I did is every other month I used to invite everyone who wants to be a BPW member. So one thing I did was there were so many, like 100 of them who wanted to be a member. So I didn't start a separate club, but I distributed them to the different clubs that we already had. Some clubs, they didn't have anyone below 40. So now they have like 40 young new members. And what I did is every time when the young girls used to come to a meeting, I used to say, why don't you bring a friend who you think can benefit from BPW? There's so much of learning that you can get out of BPW, which you can't get in your academics. You can't go to university for certain things. And that's how the young ones started coming. And in 2018, there were like 100 young BPW members who registered. So the thing is that when we invite them, one thing I realized is we need to engage them as well. We take the membership, then we disappear for a year, and the end of the year, we say, okay, you need to renew your membership, and they will not come back. They say, okay, you did nothing in a year. So it's very important to engage them. So ever since I've been a part of it, I've always, I used to see the profiles, what they are good at. If a girl is good at IT, so if there is a certain IT related workshop, any seminars, I used to refer her. So she used to go there and bring 2 or 3 new members from who wanted to be a part of BPW. So this is how everything started. And recently I wanted to make sure that the visibility of BPW, because it has been doing so amazing work in Nepal for a really long time. And it's the first NGO to be registered in Nepal. So we did a fashion show where I thought while the young girls are so busy working, they will not be able to come. So BPW Nepal, we arranged a fashion show to bring us, awareness about the fashion industry and how we can, recycle, reuse, and use the local products to bring this change. So I saw this, eagerness from the young ones to be a part of it. And that is one thing I suggest to everybody tells me how we can ask someone to be a BPW member. We don't need to ask them. We need to be visible so that they want to be a part of BPW. And even in the local club, even right now after the events, during the events, all the models wanted to be a BPW member. All the designer wanted to be a BPW member. And everyone, the media person or the sponsors who were leading women business, business, everybody said, okay, we want to be a part of BPW. How can we be a part of BPW? I think that is one of a way in which we can, invite more young members, not just young, but everyone. Because I think if we want to be a part of this global, revolution that we have started like 89 years back, which is still going on, I think we need to invite everyone who can make a difference. And thank you, Susan. You came here and saw that amazing work that the clubs in Nepal were doing all over the country. And, this is one thing I see is like the people, they do a lot of hard work, but they want to be appreciated. They want to be seen. They want someone to see the hard work they have put up to. And after you visited so many clubs, I heard from so many of them saying that, okay, it looks nice when somebody comes and says, okay, these are the works that I've been doing. And especially to the young ones, even me, when there are so many things that I want to do and I don't know how to do it. And I just, think, where should I go? Or what kind of a training I need to take or something to, groom myself to be a better person. And I think BPW has a lot to offer. We just need to say, okay, my suggestion is if there is a new young BPW member in your club, send her to one regional or one young symposium or one BPW conference. It becomes addiction. That is what happened to me. I went to one event and then I got that addiction started right from there. And to be a part of this global sisterhood itself, it means so much because you have so many people to reach out to, so many people to learn from. And Susan, Yasmin, and Tuluki was the first person that I met who came from, abroad. And when I met them at the airport and one of the first BPW event that I attended in Nepal, that's I realized that how hard they are working. They are not working for themselves. They are working for women all over the world. So I think if you want to make a difference all over the world, BPW will make you a global citizen. That is what I would say. So if you think this is the right platform, then invite your friends who you think can benefit out of it. Just don't say, okay, only I want to be a part of it. I only want to be seen. I want to benefit out of it. Try to bring more friends, ask their friends and whoever you think is potential enough, whoever you think will, make a difference in BPW, try to bring them. So I think that is all I have to say. Yeah.
Any other question for our panel? Vicky, you're very quiet. On mute.
I have a question for everyone. Do you have young BPW programs? And are they thriving? And do you know how to begin if they're not, even after all this?
And Susan, again, I can just give you an insight into BPW Australia. We have, as a national body, a great difficulty in attracting young. And yet I'm a member of BPW Sydney. And for as long as I can remember, we have had young members in that club, always a young president, always professional and entrepreneurs. And it seems to me what Neelima has done in Nepal, which is like attracts like, is the same with BPW Sydney Club. They see someone, our president is an engineer. She's very dynamic. She's only been in the position for a year. She's already been to CSW, and people see that and want to do it too. And so they join. And that's exactly what happened in Nepal, because it was Neelima that started this whole process. I mean, the members there, doctors, architects, nurses, dentists, just amazing.
Anybody else have a BPW program that's doing well?
Hello, everybody. Morning.
Good morning.
My name is Anna, and I am one of the youngest member of the BPW Concordia. At the moment, we have 4 members. We're doing great, but we're developing the program now so that we're trying to make it work so that it could attract more members. Earlier, I believe it was Yasmin that mentioned that it's a pity members look for what they can benefit, how they can get out of BPW. I am 24. I joined last year, BPW Concordia, so I am 1 year in the organization. And I am very much proud of how much, not just me, that I can help with my organization, but how much more in the world that we can help. So at the moment, I'm serving as the representative, the assistant representative of Lou. And we're working on a very great project that we're looking forward to put in the community that will attract more young women to join us on the process. But we don't have a standard program that we're using at the moment. I guess that is why I am here, so as to get some more insight on what we can build on. I love the program that is set out for Young BPW Hong Kong. Dr. Anne, that was great. So I will take some of those little notes and create with the other 3 members, one for Young BPW Concordia here in St. Martin. We have a mentoring program that is now starting up. So what is happening is that the older group is mentoring us and allowing us to make a decision on our own as to how we want to structure the Young BPW. So they're giving us a chance to make it more adaptable for the 21st century, which is really commendable on their part. So we are looking forward to improving and growing BPW Concordia here in St. Martin.
Great. Wonderful.
Thank you, Anne. I think that it's very important for the young BPWs that, as you said, that is the learning in reverse. We always think that we will teach the young BPWs, but and sometimes we don't want to hear what they have to say. And it is very important that we take the time to hear them, what they want, their ideas, their input in the things that we are doing. But what I see everywhere is the complaint is every time that we said we can do this or that, they say, no, we already didn't, doesn't function. So it's like, okay, no, this is not our objective. And it's very discouraged for the young BPWs. I think that we have to have a little bit patient, that our age is not easy, but anyway, and hear what they want to do and support them, encourage them to do it. And let's see, they will learn by their own mistakes or success. But we have to be there to support them. And this is the training that they need to receive from us. It's something that I think. In another hand, at the local level or national level, we need also to have the financial support for our young BPWs. As Neelima said, attending BPW meetings, it's changed your mind totally. I always said that my first Congress, International Congress, was in New Zealand, because the president at that time, Rosemary Michael from Switzerland, she was the first international president that realized that the organization needs young members. If not, we will die sometime. So she implemented, how can I say, a program. The theme of the Congress was Youngest Today, Leaders Tomorrow, and they offer I think it was 15 or 20 scholarships to attend the International Congress. I applied to be one of these. I sent my not my CV, but a piece of with saying what we expect as young BPWs, which are our problems. The title of my presentation, it was the problem about being a young in the career and with the family, which is actually what we are dealing with. And anyway, I won, and when I were there, I was like, oh my goodness, this is BPW. And again, it was a shock for me to see so many old ladies working so hard, and all the projects around the world. So it's another perspective. We need really to try to support the young BPWs in the with the finances to attend the Congress.
No, I would support that. I would also say, based on something you said and Neelima said before about the sustainability of our organization, it's just maths that if we don't bring in younger members, the organization will go, you know. But so if we really want to move fully into the 21st century, we actually need them to tell us how to do it. So we have more working experience, but they really have the knowledge of current models and use of technology and so on.
Yeah. Since 1999 in Canada, it was approved that the young BPW be part of the executive. Mm-hmm. And I follow this since then. And we are doing something wrong because none of them stay in BPW after they finish in the executive. And we have to be clear on this and realize that we are doing something wrong. We are not really taking the time to train our members, not only the young members, to stay in BPW, to think in the future of BPW, even that when they finish as young BPW executives. And I can say I've been in the executive with Liz Benham, with Frida, and well, you know, my term as international president, and it's the first time that I can see young BPW really engage with the role. And I know that she will stay in BPW forever because now it's in her blood. So no matter what, you know, we don't need titles, and but this is what we need. This is what we need, that take their hands and say, look, this is what is BPW. This is how you can grow up in this organization and listen to them. So this is for me very important.
But one of the things that you mentioned that I feel a little bit differently about, and that is members saying, what can I get from it? But I think if they don't see a clear purpose or a clear value or both, then they'll also leave. And that's members of every age, and we have this in many clubs too. But when the younger generation, who is much more tech savvy than the rest of us, can get all the same information and trainings and also contribute in terms of advocacy and activism by internet, for example, they don't need BPW. So if we're not offering something like a support system and networking and, oh, I can introduce you to this president of this company here, and I know a good an accountant over here, not all of them BPW members, but our members can introduce to other people that we need in our career. Because from the start, we were also about professional development. And I think we need to feel that we are contributing and we have a way to contribute. And that's important for the younger members who are often marginalized, pushed aside, wait until you grow up sort of thing. So they need ways to fully contribute and feel good and qualified to do that. But also they do need to feel like they're receiving something, which can be that, not just a sisterhood. You know, I belong to even one internet group that has 65,000 women in it. I get sisterhood everywhere, but we need the on-the-ground support, we need the trainings for skills, we need this kind of thing, and to serve in these positions. Because serving in the leadership positions is exactly how you learn. We don't want someone with no experience, but if you don't have enough, then you get a mentor who's silently behind you answering your questions. But you can be in the position nevertheless if you have the enthusiasm and the motivation. And I think and you will learn a lot, as you know, by being in those positions. So I think it's important also to show that there's something for them to gain from this. And that can be lots of different things, material and immaterial. Joe, to your shaking of your head, you still don't know how to attract them and so on. 2 practical points, not just to you, but to everyone, that I've had this conversation a lot around the world. One, if you have no young BPW, one will not stay if she comes by herself because there won't be any relationship there. So you need to have at least 2 at a time who are joining. Better if they know each other. Secondly, if you have really an old club, as some of our clubs are, and everybody's 70 and above, you're not going to attract young ones no matter what you do. So try first to target 40 and 50-year-olds and get that so there's a bridge, and then go down from there. But the other is to work very closely with universities. So our members have volunteered to come in and give lectures in business classes or in gender studies classes and other classes. And professors are usually really happy to have someone from the business or professional world come in and give a one-time lecture. And we try to talk to their administration and find other ways that we can benefit them. And then they in turn can tell their students about BPW. And that has been one of the most active feeds for us. And then friends being friends. But first of all, you have to start getting some. So I think the really starting point, I would suggest those 2 perspectives.
I think things like these webinars and the virtual link have got such great value, and it certainly does prove that we've got something to give internationally, and that's been really welcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's certainly part of it too, and that also comes back to a greater use of technology. So I think that's also.
Can I come in? I'm BPW Strathfield, and Miriam, who's the president of BPW Sydney, she's just 40 and I'm a lot older than that. What I found is that we've actually been working together on quite a number of projects. And one of the advantages I've found is I've learned as an older person a lot from her, and she has learnt a lot from me. So that's been like a reverse mentoring on either side. But one of the things I find that linking up with the university has been quite a benefit. So that the program providing events which encourage university students to come along, and also with some of the links that I have with people in business and trying to get work experience for some of these people as well, so that they can get some benefit out of it as well. Not only that they can see people and get good guest speakers and learn something, but also that they're networking and then there might be connections that can be made. I'm finding that a little bit, quite successful. I've just got 2 people who are under 25 join my club. And also with that is because they came on board with a couple of good ideas, told them how good those ideas were, and we're going to run with them as a program. And they're related to STEM, which will marry up with schools, with universities. So I'm on board with that. They've got to be active straight from the beginning. But for my club to survive, which was dwindling, and when I came on board, there was only a few members, the key for me was to try and find people who really wanted to belong. And I interview them. I don't want people, just anybody joining. I want somebody who feels committed. And what can they bring to the club is more important at this stage, because if they can bring something onto the club, then I feel that they might be more committed. But with that bringing to the club, whatever their ideas are, they run with it and we support them with it. So I'm hoping that's going to work. And what I'm hearing is that might be a good way to go. Now, Susan belongs to the Sydney club and she knows Miriam, knows how dynamic that is. So for us, that's working, I believe, at this stage. So I just wanted to bring to the table, and I can hear what's happening. in order to get the young people, it's getting that marrying connection that needs to develop. Anyway, thank you for listening.
Thank you. Can I say something personal? I'm very proud that Miriam is my niece. She is
Yes, I know. Excellent.
Her mom is my partner at the hospital, and I never convinced her mom to join BPW, but I convinced her. So
yeah, but you are her role model.
Well. So I'm very proud of her.
Great. So back to universities, as you were saying, Jeanette, and I was saying before, our current mentoring program is then reaching in and mentoring university students who are not yet members of BPW, but we surely hope that they will become. They could at this stage, but they're not required to in order to participate in the mentoring program.
I like that idea of bringing in the university lectures. We hadn't actually thought of that, so I'm going to use that as a you know, a kind of a foot in the door. I think that's excellent. The other thing that came up as an idea, we were talking about this, Miriam and I, just last week, was maybe the more established members can sponsor a young person. That is, the fees, you know, because they say, oh, why am I joining? It's very expensive, you know, and all of that. And I can see that, you know, when you can go online with Facebook and join an organisation with other like-minded women for free. However, maybe if you sponsor them, and so reduce their fee costs, and then the sponsor becomes a mentor. So that's an idea that I'm going to bring to the club and to other members as well. Yeah. So that might be an idea
sponsor
as well.
For 1 year, just the first year, I would say.
Yeah, just for 1 year.
They've got a whole year to see whether it's the place for them or not, and then by then they should be willing to pay for themselves.
Yeah, that's right. Just for the 1 year. Yeah.
Just to give it to you an idea, in my club and in many clubs in Mexico, what we did is, and we are doing in the activities that we are doing, that we raise some money, we take 20% to support the members to attend the congresses. The members who were in the activity, of course. So you take 20%, so they know that there is a money to distribute in between the members that were part of the activity. So I think that this is an idea that not only for the young, but this is an idea that you can support the members to attend the meetings.
I think also in the general category of youth leadership, listening to the younger members is really important. And as I've talked to clubs around the world who have sometimes denied younger members positions on boards and so on, we're getting better about that, I think, but I have seen some marginalizing. And one of the things that Neelima and I are working on to start next month is a separate online program for anybody in BPW that's called Intergenerational Dialogue. And the point there really is more for those of us who are over 35 to do more listening and less talking, perhaps, but to really hear from younger members what their generation and in this century is really needed from such an organization, and see what we can gain from that, and maybe even to guide our organization going forward. So
this is very interesting, the way that Hong Kong started. And the how they can maintain the membership, not only maintain, but increase the membership, which is the most important thing for me, because open a club is difficult, but not then maintain the membership and keep the attention and interest of the young members is not easy. And
Yasmin, for us in Bristol, we don't have any young BPW members, so I think Sue Holtham and I are hoping that this might give us some ideas to actually get some young BPW so that we can refresh our blood and have subs on the bench.
Yes, I know, and this is the objective of this webinar, And that is why it's so important to hear how BPW Hong Kong lead actually in this experience, and how to attract young BPW members and how to keep them into the club, which is also, as I said, a very hard work.
Yeah.
As Neelima said, the actual situation is totally different than when I start in my club here. I think that some of you hear sometime my presentation, how I start being a BPW member because my grandmother invited me, and in Mexico you cannot say no to your grandmother, so I stay in the club. Yeah, so I said, well, okay. But the first time that I went to the meeting, I was shocked. I said, what can I do here? I think I was like 23 years old, something like this. And after the meeting, after I hear all the work that they were doing, and I feel bad with myself. I said, how can it be possible that I'm so young, doing nothing? Yes, I already was a medical doctor and work a lot, but nothing for others, nothing for my community. And these old ladies are doing so much. So it was my personal this webinar. Thank you very much, Anne. Thank you, Neelima, for this great presentation. And please, to everybody, spread the news about these webinars, and Anne will make possible that this video is on YouTube with this training. And if you have any other subject that you will like that we add to the series of webinars, please let us know. Thank you very much. It's a very, very great time sharing with all of you. Thank you, because in the different time zones, I think that some of you are already on bed, listen to us. But, thank you, Anne. Thank you, Neelima. Great presentation, and see you soon.
See you soon, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.